If you enjoy this video, please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like what you see on my channel and would like to support me on Patreon, click on the link below. The Twilight Zone has made such an impact into popular culture, even after 60 years. The horror genre has been inspired or impacted in some way by The Twilight Zone. The show has stirred our imagination and fears for many years. Rod Serling knew how to bring forth many social issues, still applicable today, even episodes like Living Doll, about a killer doll, which showed a crumbling family when the mother Annabelle buys her daughter a very popular doll called Talky Tina.
She's alive, Daddy, and her name is Talky Tina.
Which says,
"My name is Talky Tina, and I love you very much."
Which helps comfort Christy. Annabelle has recently been remarried to Eric, an infertile man played by Telly Savalas, who was frustrated because of his inability to have his own children with Annabelle. Eric directs his hostility towards the stepdaughter, Christy. Eric has trouble showing love to Christy and is cold and verbally abusive.
Will you shut that thing off?
To Eric Strater, she is a most unwelcome addition to his household. But without her, he'd never enter Twilight Zone.
Things get worse when the doll Talky Tina threatens Eric.
You are going to be sorry.
He tries to convince his wife the doll talks to him, but she doesn't believe him. He even tries to destroy the doll, which doesn't work. In the end, after the doll kills Eric, Annabelle finds out the doll is alive after she hears it talk.
My name is Talky Tina. And you'd better be nice to me.
The episode had a very simple premise, but depicted a family going through turmoil very well. The doll Talky Tina seems to be a vessel in which Christy expresses her hostility toward the stepfather in order to protect her very frightened mother. Or the doll was just possessed and evil. The closing narration by Serling said it best.
Of course, we all know dolls can't really talk, and they certainly can't commit murder. But to a child caught in the middle of turmoil and conflict, a doll can become many things. Friend, defender, guardian. Especially a doll like Talky Tina, who did talk and did commit murder in the misty region of the Twilight Zone.
The episode Living Doll made its debut on the 1st of November 1963. According to the Twilight Zone Companion, this episode was written in one day by Jerry Soule, even though credit was given entirely to Charles Beaumont, whom Soule was sometimes ghostwriter to. Soule was a TV writer and science fiction author who wrote for The Twilight Zone, The Outer Limits, and Star Trek The Original Series, and many other shows. He wrote more than 20 novels as well as feature film scripts. Soule remarked about the character Eric, that Eric's not a bad guy, even if he is a little cold to his daughter. It's tough not to feel for him in this situation. He wants to improve himself, but the evil talking doll keeps screwing up his chances. The lead actor Telly Savalas later would play the famous detective Kojak in the show of the same name. Kojak was a very popular show throughout the 70s. In 1967, he would play the sadistic character Archer Maggot in the war film The Dirty Dozen, working alongside actors including Lee Marvin, Ernest Borgnine, and Charles Bronson, and he would play the arch-villain of James Bond as Blofeld in Her Majesty's Secret Service in 1968. The doll which was used for Talky Tina was produced by the Vogue Doll Company between 1959 and 1961 and marketed under the name Brigitte. Contrary to its depiction on The Twilight Zone, Brigitte was not a talking doll. However, Talky Tina was modelled after the popular talking doll Chatty Cathy, which was manufactured by Mattel at the time Living Doll premiered. The voices for both Talky Tina and the original Chatty Cathy dolls were provided by Jane Foray, who was one of the leading voice actresses at that time.
I was the original voice of Chatty Cathy. Mattel liked the way I said, "I love you, please change my dress." I got a call to do the Twilight Zone, with a chatty Cathy voice, Talky Tina, who kills Telly Savalas. But she was evil. She was nice to the little girl, but she would always say, my name is Talky Tina, and I'm going to kill you. And in the end, when she does kill him, the wife picks up the doll, and the doll says, my name is Talky Tina, and you better be nice to me. I did not work with Rod Serling, and I'm sorry I didn't. I was just in the sound booth, and the control room was just some person who was a line reader or something, and no, I felt so bad that I never met him. I felt so privileged working on that. It's apparently a very favorite episode among a lot of people, and when I tell them that I'm Talky Tina, were you really that bad? Yes, I was, but not personally.
Actress Mary LaRoche, who played the mother Annabelle Streeter, was a Broadway actress who appeared in the films Gidget and Bye Bye Birdie. The child actress who portrays Christy is credited as being the voice of Lucy Van Pelt in the classic TV special A Charlie Brown Christmas. The interior of the house set was later reused in the Twilight Zone episode The Ring-a-Ding Girl in 1963. The score for this episode was composed by Bernard Herrmann. Herrmann composed countless music for various Twilight Zone episodes, and his music adds to the creepiness and sinister tone of this episode. Living Doll would be the first in many creepy doll characters influencing a number of killer doll movies, especially the successful Child's Play series, which featured the evil possessed killer doll Chucky. You can easily see that the makers of Child's Play were directly influenced by this Twilight Zone episode. There have been countless killer doll movies, including the bizarre killer doll movie Dolls in 1987. In recent years, there has been a resurgence of creepy doll movies, including The Conjuring and Annabelle movies, and countless cheap killer doll knockoff movies. What is this killer doll fascination the public have? I, for one, don't really find dolls all that scary, but ventriloquist dummies? Forget about it. If you look at the episode Living Doll today, it might seem rather dated and even laughable, but looking at the overall story and theme of the episode, it shows us that even then, families were falling apart. This was sometimes an issue which was taboo and not talked about in the early 60s, especially on TV, and Rod Serling, God bless him, was not afraid to show it. The Twilight Zone certainly broke the rules of normal TV conventions. That's probably why the show has stood the test of time, even 60 years later. My name's JonnyBaak. Thanks for watching.